Continue for healing for 1 minute for Japa Saraswati's say that for contractor
Construction.
construction. Okay, and begin. And inhale. And heart breath. And begin for Elizabeth, for her husband, and for his son. And begin. And inhale. Exhale. And continue your breath. Good. Okay, now this morning, I was with Baba Siddhi-chan, and I was asking, so what are we going to listen? And what happened was to move me through Guru Granth Sahib through there. And so I found through there, and it said immediately it was the word for embodiment. Okay, so and they were with too much, to know, too more, for human and God. You got that? I couldn't do the whole thing because the the book was fell off. So this is about embodiment between human and God, and continue for 3 minutes and begin. And excuse me, inhale, exhale, and continue breath. Okay, so let's start with Agya Paul.
Okay. This is so cool. This morning, I was um, kind of pulled to read some of the Revelations of the Aramaic Jesus book,
Mhm.
and I read about so soul must have, huh, uh, orchestrated this. And as I was reading, in the ancient Semitic languages, that we talk about the body and the spirit, and in the ancient Semitic languages, it's yes, we're separate, but we're all interconnected. But so embodiment um would it mean, well, at least to me it means that we are one, we embody um uh the creator, God, guru, in and we are one. And yeah, and um the the Shem, or the name of embodiment, um as I was reading about it, in the ancient Semitic peoples, they were more concerned with the sound and the vibration of the embodiment than of the outer looks, the inner and the outer, um, of a person. And so I just spent my 3 minutes now sitting with soul and sitting with the that idea of embodiment, um, being represented, or um, being projected as sound and light energy. And
Did you
so
say
that so
as sound and light?
yes, as sound and light energy. And so, as the great prophets, probably Guru Ram Dass, and all the mantras, um, that's why we intone. That's because the vibration brings us into it sort of embodies
Mhm.
the blessing, the gift, the energy of the great ones. And so this was really cool for me, because the connection between the the Aramaic Jesus and the Siri Guru Granth Sahib, that we're really talking about the same thing. And yeah, and so that's embodiment, um, for me, and something for me to remember, um, that yeah, because we perceive separately, um, but together we perceive our inner body and our outer body, are one.
Okay.
If that makes any sense,
Yeah,
that's what I would like to share.
sounds wonderful.
Good.
Good. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for listening.
Okay. So now, how about Salt City?
But, I had trouble hearing what the topic was, so I'm just, can you just repeat it?
What? S- Japa Saraswati, are you going? would you say?
Yeah, set city. The topic was embodiment.
Okay,
Embodiment.
that's what I thought.
Right.
Yeah, thank you. What has really dominated my thoughts and prayers recently are the recent trip I made with my other sister, Honora, to move my sister Jeannie, who's has cancer, just spread from her liver to her bones. She's got like 19 tumors, little tiny lesions in her brain. So we had the honor of moving my sister from Princeton, where she was staying with her best friend and her sons, getting rid of all her stuff. It was like, and then preparing her physically, etc., to move to my brother's place. Is a building in the Upper West Side. He set up his own hospice there and selected the people who were going to be on her care team. And apparently, the Dominican community in New York City is a lot of the women have moved into this hospice work, and he has somebody he really cherishes who helped our mother. So I would say I've been very meditating a lot on this idea of disembodiment and who Jeannie will be and is becoming as she leaves her body. And this very special time that we got to spend, the three sisters, really seriously talking about this transition and transformation. My sister's religious, a very hardcore fundamentalist Catholic, but she's not spiritual. And for the last, ever since we got this diagnosis and have watched her get sicker and sicker and sicker, go through many treatments, many treatments, and most recently, full body radiation, which has really changed her personality to some degree. We were told about that, but I think what I've learned is how important it is to really clean up and move through forgiveness, absolute, total, complete, irrational, undeserved in many cases. It was just hard working with my sister because luckily we got started months and months ago because she had so many resentments, unbelievable, legitimate resentments toward a very abusive husband and blah, 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 blah. And she's a beautiful person that I've known only 1 year apart or 18 months apart. So this idea of who she's becoming and what this process is as I go through it with her and my other sister. So I don't quite know what to say because I'm in the process, but something very beautiful and an incredible spiritual opportunity for both the person who's dying and those who are loving them through the death process. And I have such a strong feeling. I'm in contact with quite a few people who are already have died a long time ago. My mother, my father, especially my grandma Winnie. So it's like she'll be here. We'll be connected, even though she'll have dropped her body. And it has really deepened the love between us to go through this process together. And that's, I guess, all I have to say. Thank you for the chance to speak.
Well, God bless you. Yes. So that's a really incredible understanding of embodiment. Thank you. Okay, Gian das Prim.
Vietnam. That's beautiful. So Baba Siri Chand, he showed me an image of a mime and what a mime does to get people to notice what they're doing or to try to explain a story without words. And it was a sort of ecstasy in there that was guiding the way of that vibration that we're coming back to, right? And in the mime, I was noticing um, the embodiment of myself moving forward with, in this frequency of understanding and forgiveness and correction and staying within that, the knowing of this process and this cycle. And it's just so beautiful to have all of us together, sharing this vibration that we're working with in the ways of our ancestors, in a sense, right? Of here we are. And Bubba tends to dance around and to spread himself out and to move into so many different directions that he becomes part of, what I'm seeing when I look at the clouds. And he's showing the life of, that flower, of how it comes up out of the ground, and that it also has an embodiment that is this part of what we're here together doing. And it's just, I think in the mime, for myself personally, I'm noticing myself and the progression, and here we are in this progression as human beings, right? And such a precious time of our group together, and the importance of that moving forward through this understanding of the cycle. And we have these knowings of the reminders. It seems to be coming through and through our dreams, right? Whether they're small messages and a smile through a person that we remember, or I saw a giant in my dream, and it was as tall as a tree. And I just had to notice what he was doing, and he reached out his hand, and it was towards the tree to say, wow, look at all this life. And then he looked down, and as he looked down, I could see, there's normal people. And then we all started doing these extraordinary things of, moving in ways that you wouldn't think a human being could do, is moving like with the clouds, that we have this ability to become aware of that we are here with that we can rejoice in that sense, of that time of the mime, in the vibration of noticing the message that we're picking up through that. Yeah. And thank you so much for that, the reminders. My guru.
Uh-huh. You know what? I have seen several people to see Baba's City-chan is big, giant blue fellow. And that's Baba's City-chan. Isn't that amazing? That giant, he's giant.
It's beautiful because I feel, as a victim and a witness, that's, it's almost like that circle is, it has that, like you're driving a wheel and holding on to that circle, and it's like, wow. And then I'm just sort of looking into it. Yeah. And that the colors there are just, yeah, it's just so beautiful, right? And it's of the sky, of that bright, that, yeah. And just the pink, I love seeing the pink colors, and I think that we're all surrounded in that flower sense from the center, right?
Right.
Thank you so much for that dreaming ability. It's just amazing to see that and to say, wow, so that comes from in there and also from out there. And I think that, yeah, we have so many things coming at us right from the outside in so many different ways. Yeah, that there are things that are sprouting up forth too that can open up. Yeah. And that's so beautiful to notice that in the, and it's in the book too. That's the reminder of what Baba Siri Chan says to me, that it's, and we can write our own book, and we can come up with the same beautiful things that we're picking up with this vibration through that. And once again, Waheguru to the next person. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Hadi Munder.
I'm just thinking that how important the frequency of forgiveness is, and throughout all our lives, And that's really it. That feeling the vibration and then bringing in to that vibration the situation or the other people.
Mm-hmm. For instance.
Family,
Mm-hmm.
family members,
Okay.
wherever there is separation, just to embody, I guess, embody that in the vibration.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
That's it.
Well, can you tell me what happens if you do that?
I need to start doing it more.
Oh, okay. That sounds good.
Gian das Prem, not Gian, no, who's not here from Texas?
Gian Devi.
Yeah, Jyotian Devi.
Oh, yeah.
When
Mm-hmm.
she did it for a person who had done a lot of trafficking for sexual purposes. And when she chose him for some reason to bring him into the frequency of forgiveness, she was immediately surrounded by hundreds, thousands of children who were saying they were so grateful because someone had, or the frequency was liberating them, that they felt listened to and what's the word, recognized. So it was a very interesting an astounding situation. So when we do it for anyone and for ourselves even, we're doing it for generations.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then what happens for you?
Well, you're just in that frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So as you practice the frequency of forgiveness, it, you are in that frequency of forgiveness and drawing in whoever else is needing it.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Sahej.
Sorry, it always takes me a second. So this morning I am feeling a little distracted, and so I said, okay, embodiment, and I immediately had the information that, okay, embodiment is when you have integrated it in understanding such that your actions flow out of that understanding without having to think about it. In other words, like I don't have to think about what is the right action in this case, or what can I be doing to serve, for instance, that it um, is a natural outgrowth of an integrated understanding. And then I kept hearing near bow, near ver, near bow, near ver, and I got this funny. I couldn't remember what the translation was, and so and I know you understand this. I'm having trouble with words, grabbing the words. I know they're there, but I can't grab hold of them. And I got a little frantic and it sent me in a deep dive because I couldn't remember the name of the mole mantra either. And it was funny because I got kind of frantic about it. I'm like, it's on my kata. It's written there. I have that for a reason, you know. It's uh, um, I haven't quite sorted out that. It seems almost comical to me, but I finally did look it up, and Nirbao is without fear, and Nirvair is without hate, and like something deep, deep inside of me shifted. um, Especially Hadimander with what you were saying, which was such a lovely connection to what was trying to come through for me, because that is and I'm attaching it right now to the situation with my family of origin, just because some things have come up, and it is so beautiful to hear a different perspective on the value, not just for our own selves, but sort of the unexpected result of the frequency of forgiveness in liberating other beings that, you know, um, they wouldn't even have considered as being part of this chain of what you think you're trying to release for yourself. And I think that Nirbao Nirver is a message. Maybe that's a message for me personally, to remember that part of embodying uh, these this understanding I have of what it is to be a human being and to serve that connectedness between us that we call God.
Mm-hmm.
That that is something, maybe it's for everybody, but certainly for me this morning, to contemplate that that's part of the process that helps the embodiment, because the fear and the resentment or hatred, they block the ability to truly embody that. I mean, it's okay, we're human, it happens, but if we want to have a free flow, that we need to let go of those things and trust the flow of that creative force through us to guide us, to guide us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to see where what I'm seeing is like actions and intentions. People have intentions about how we want to be, and we have practices to help us become that connected to source, and um, to the to God, to the creator, and to have that flow through our lives. in an embodied way, but then we observe ourselves acting in a way either that's counter to that or feeling in a way that's counter to that. And those are the blocks, the fear and the hatred. I mean, that's true because, and that I was like, hatred, it's such a strong word, but I realized how that represents itself a lot of times is self-righteousness.
Self-righteousness?
Yeah. In other
Yeah.
words, like, I am politically correct about this, and therefore it's okay for me to be hateful towards this being or whatever. Um, so yeah, so paying attention to if those things rise up, where's that coming from? Fear, I think we understand. Fear is pretty clear, although maybe not always. I mean, I think we deflect and sometimes we have the habit of getting angry when we're actually fearful. So I guess what I'm seeing is all of these ways in which these two things rise up in different forms and become blocks to that creative flow.
So what do you do to let go of that connection to flow? How do you do that?
Observing the state in the first place to realize what I'm in, and that I need to let go of something. And then for me, just to drop into my breath and to do heart breath and to forgive myself
Mm-hmm.
for that momentary lapse.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's another, yeah, because it's easy to think, oh, I've failed to be the embodiment of this, uh, although we may not use that language. Um, and then our minds run away with us, and then we're off on a whole other trail where we could say, oh, okay, I realize I'm in deep resentment about this. Let me breathe my way through that. Let me forgive myself and recognize I'm human, and go on from there. And I think I know negative self-talk and self-criticism is a habit that a lot of us have. Sometimes it's just we're not even conscious of it, that it was hardwired in either in our families or in the culture around us early on, and that self-judgment becomes the block. It just makes it harder to move back into the flow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to love ourselves for when we notice ourselves being the embodiment. I mean, that is how, I feel my mother here.
Mm.
They always showed us by example. And I have really clear memories of my mother saying to me, "Now, see there, darling, what you just did, that's one of the corporal works of mercy." And I know I've said this before, but it was such a powerful thing. And then she would explain to me what that was. These are the things that we do as human beings for each other. Um, this is how we care for each other. But that she didn't say, this is what we do, and this is the list of things. She did them herself. And I observed that as a small child. And then when she saw that I was doing that, she pointed that out to me in a very loving way and made me feel very good that I already had this embodied understanding of what it was to be, a good human, to be in service to others. And I think that that's the kind of love that we need to show ourselves to be our own loving parent, as the saying goes. Because life is hard a lot of the times. And right now, I think that's true for a fair swath of humanity. And it's easy to get pulled off, especially in this election year in the US. There's going to be so many temptations, to get afraid or to feel anger or hatred is a very strong word, but there's going to be a lot of that flying around. And I think the frequency of forgiveness and self-forgiveness is going to be critical to keep us in this state where we can embody this understanding of our connection and what it is to be human and what it is to be a conduit for that flow, that creative force that's the God in all of us.
Mhm.
And how nice of my mother to pop in.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Wonderful. Yes, lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. So now, Japa Saraswati.
That was so beautiful, Sahaj. Especially when you were talking about your mother, I closed my eyes and I felt like I was on a bit of a lifeboat or something, which is really funny because the next thing I'm saying is about it. I do remember the story about how Baba Siddhi Chand died, and he was very old and he was going to leave his earthly body, and he went with his disciples down to the riverfront and he stepped onto a rock, and the rock floated with him out into the middle of the river. And then, that's when he got his rainbow body, which means that he dropped his physical body, but that his physical body like just transformed into light. Um, and they never, and the same thing with the rock. The rock was part of this, part of his siddhi, but it's about the imaginal cells. It was the next part of my message. When a butterfly, when a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, they melt into their cocoon and all of their cells get kind of mushed up together, and they are what's called imaginal cells, like to imagine. And that's because they can take the same parts and like they can make a stomach and melt it down and turn it into a wing or something like that. They can use all of their goo to reimagine themselves. And that was the message about both like the embodiment and about us, is that we are able to transform any part of ourself into another part of ourself, that it's all imaginal like that. And with Baba Siddhi Chand being both Bale, the little boy, and Baba, the father, and also this transcendent spirit that unites in all of us, was the same way that I felt the Guru. So when Baba, when Siri Gian at the beginning of her meditation this morning was talking to Baba, and he told her to go to the Guru, when he says this to me, I take it, it's very sweet because it feels to me like he's telling me to go to his father all the time. That's what it feels like to me. And I go and I sit with Guru Nanak, and I had that message of like, so in the lineage around the time that, was it Guru Ram Das? I forget who was the Guru, but they could have made Baba Siddhi Chand the Guru, but they didn't because that wasn't Baba's path. Baba's path was to go for Udasi, and so I guess, and then it was embodied in the position of Guru was an embodied position until at the 11th Guru he became like the Siddhi Guru Granth, like a collection of excuse me, like a collection of writing. And in that same way of the imaginal cells, like that it used to be embodied and then it became something so much more ethereal, like that it had the potential to have been something that was just lineage, like that was just blood, like it could have been handed down from father to son, for example, down generations, but instead they chose to make it this much more rainbow body sort of way. And what Baba reminded me is that it's in that way with all of us that we can um, take transformation, that we can do that within our embodied lives still. Like we don't have to burn the house down in order, or we don't even have to die in order to reimagine the layout of where those cells need to be, that we have it within ourselves to transform and to transmute and to constructively. I think that's my message.
Mhm. Okay. Well, there's amazing from all of you. Would anybody else find from each of you, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about that? Okay. So what I'm finding with both of you, all of you, is about your pure understanding of who you are, that you are God within you. That's who you are.
That was the thing. I remembered another part, Siri Gian. So it was about God in all of us, that we can lift ourselves and others up with holding each other in the light, with holding each other in prayer, that we can, that's part of our Sat Nam, that's part of our living up to our highest potential, or kind of like not exactly our God's head self, but like um, finding our highest embodied form. We can do that through prayer and through praying for each other, and through that that helps to increase our imaginal self is in that place.
Right.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted.
No, that was good. No, keep that up. So this is wonderful. And just keep it up. Understand who each of you understand who you really are, right? As you let go from the negative and let go of the flowing. God bless you all. Thank you. Now, okay, so Agya Paul, would you lead our song?
Sure, absolutely. And I just want to say one little tiny thing with Sahej, as she said, near Bo, near Ver. What came for me was a Kalamurit. So we all are above the, we all can rise above into our godness. So, okay.
Yes, yes, I heard that too.
Yes,
Cool.
and thank you for that. So let me inhale and exhale fully, heart breath. Inhale, exhale, and inhale to begin. May the Lord shine
Sunshine
on you, all surround
you.
and the
The
pure
light within you.
guide
Your way on.
guide your way on, guide your way on.
Inhale.
No.
And bless you all being
Thank you, everyone.
your own you say it. Okay, you all are doing that. That's good. Satnam.
Embodiment, yes.
Satnam.
Satnam.
Love
Yes.
you all.
Love you.
Okay, we are.
Love you all.
Okay, Satnam.